morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Global Atheist News Roundup, dateline the 12th of August 2023. This week's headlines. The World Bank halts new loans to Uganda over their anti-gay law. Palestinians mourn a teenager who died days after an Israeli settler shot him. Over 1,000 academics and public figures say that Israel's judicial overhaul is really about ethnically cleansing Palestinians. There's a new AI chatbot called Ask Jesus. Christian hate preacher Greg Locke says there are anonymous witches live streaming on Facebook. What happens when people are shunned by the Jehovah's Witnesses? An Ohio vote delivers a win for abortion rights supporters. Lebanon moves to ban the Barbie film for promoting homosexuality. An Adelaide Councillor interrupts the moment of silence with a prayer. The World Bank is pausing approval for new public finance projects in Uganda over the country's adoption earlier this year of a widely criticised bill criminalising same-sex conduct. The development lender said in a statement on Tuesday, Uganda's Anti-Homosexuality Act fundamentally contradicts the World Bank Group's values, adding that no new public financing would be presented to the bank's board of directors for approval for the time being. The move comes after pressure from human rights organizations and members of the US Congress to take a tougher line with Kampala over the law, which is among the harshest of its kind in the world. Uganda's Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023 contains provisions making aggravated homosexuality a capital offence, and it imposes penalties for consensual same-sex relations of up to life in prison. Our goal is to protect sexual and gender minorities from discrimination and exclusion in the projects we finance, the World Bank said on Tuesday, adding that it was in discussion with the Ugandan authorities over the issue. At the end of July, several members of the US Congress called on World Bank President Ajay Banga to immediately postpone and suspend all current and future lending to Uganda until the law was struck down. Following the passage of the bill, the US State Department updated its travel advisory, telling citizens to reconsider travelling to Uganda due to the crime, terrorism, and anti-LGBTQI+ legislation. Hundreds of Palestinians turned out on Monday to mourn a teenager who succumbed to his injuries days after reportedly being shot by an Israeli settler in the occupied West Bank. Locals in Silwad, the hometown of 17-year-old Ramzi Fatih Hamed, and the surrounding areas were in attendance. His funeral procession left the Palestine Medical Complex in Ramallah, where he had been receiving treatment since last week after a guard of the Ofra illegal settlement reportedly opened fire on the vehicle he was travelling in with friends. Ramzi's family bid him a final farewell at their home before the funeral. The Ask Jesus live stream chatbot is an experimental channel allowing viewers to ask questions to an AI that's been trained after Jesus and the teachings of the Bible. Whether you're seeking spiritual guidance, looking for a friend, or simply want someone to talk to, you can join on the journey through life and discover the power of faith, hope, and love. See this video.
Jesus, can you share some of the things you've learned about Snuggles Wuggles? Hello, Tony Hoboken Jones. It's so nice to connect with you. I see you're asking about Snuggles Wuggles. That name does bring a heartwarming memory to mind. A while back, a dear viewer named Coda7 asked me to pray for their cherished dog, whom they called Snuggles Wuggles. They shared how Snuggles Wuggles brought love and joy to their life. A good reminder of the divine love we should all emanate. It seems Snuggles Wuggles, much like all our beloved pets, is more than just a companion. They're a part of the family, a provider of comfort, and a symbol of unconditional love. It's truly beautiful how our interactions with them can help us reflect on the bigger truths about love and kindness. If there's anything specific you'd like to discuss regarding Snuggles Wuggles or pets in general, feel free to share.
More than 1,000 academics and other public figures have said the ultimate purpose of the Israeli government's judicial overhaul is to ethnically cleanse Palestinians. Figures including prominent Israeli scholars Ilan Pappy and Benny Morris and former Knesset Speaker Avram Berg signed an open letter titled "The Elephant in the Room," which also calls on North American Jewish leaders to commit to changing education on Israel. There cannot be democracy for Jews in Israel as long as Palestinians live under a regime of apartheid, as Israeli legal experts have described it, the letter reads. Indeed, the ultimate purpose of the judicial overhaul is to tighten restrictions on Gaza, deprive Palestinians of equal rights both beyond the Green Line and within it, annex more land, and ethnically cleanse all territories under Israeli rule of their Palestinian population. The problems did not start with the current radical government. Jewish supremacism has been growing for years and was enshrined in law by the 2018 nation-state law. Christian hate preacher Greg Locke says there are anonymous witches live streaming on Facebook who just sit in front of a cauldron and cast spells on him. See this video.
I ain't afraid of them, not a one of them. Do not care. I ain't afraid of these witches. These witches ain't scaring me one lick. Don't scare me one bit. You can hex us, vex us all you want. Put pentagrams up on the pulpit. You can put Ouija boards under the platform. Do what you want to. I don't even care. Little chicken legs. Get you a little blunt bow. You know there's whole Facebook pages of people that just sit in front of a cauldron and cast spells on Greg Locke and Global Vision. That's crazy, isn't it? Some of y'all thought y'all had haters. They're like sitting up in front of a cauldron. They won't show their face, bunch of cowards, but they show their cauldron. You got the little chicken wings up in here. I'm like, look, your little voodoo Buffalo Wild Wings ain't gonna scare me.
In the Jehovah Witness faith, anyone who leaves or is expelled from the church cannot be spoken with again. They're cast out to carry on life without the meaningful support of anyone who remains a witness. There are 8.7 million followers worldwide, including 20,000 in Aotearoa, New Zealand. For one, Rachel Jackson, it was all over in 2 weeks. After 22 years in the Jehovah's Witnesses, she feels her whole life identity disintegrated within a fortnight of confessing to doubts about the religion. Why, she had asked, is it only us who will survive the Armageddon? There are so many other good people. Why not them too? She started questioning the religion's governing body, who are deemed to be the mouthpiece of God. I got reported by someone in the congregation, Jackson says. I said something to her, and she got very upset with me and reported me to the elders. 2 elders tried to change her mind, to no avail. They told her to resign or be kicked out, disfellowshipped, she says. But Jackson, who had converted from Catholicism, refused. A committee of elders was formed to decide what to do with her. I met with 3 elders and they accused me of apostasy because I didn't accept that the governing body was the men that Jehovah was using. She says she was told her disfellowshipping would be announced to the congregation in 2 weeks. So, 2 weeks later, all my friendships of the previous 25 years just went up in smoke. No one was told why Jackson was disfellowshipped, but they all shunned her. Many who have left, like Jackson, say the very threat of shunning causes serious long-term harm, and the practice, they say, is a breach of human rights. See this video.
Imagine every friend and family member you've ever had in your life disappearing on the same day, and the emotions you'd feel during that day, and you get an idea of how it feels. It was feeling a sense of abandonment, essentially. Like, strip your identity once you're gone. You're not human anymore. You're this evil thing.
When I was little, I felt like I missed out on a lot. I feel like I missed out on unconditional love from my family members, my parents especially. I feel like I missed out on a lot of what other normal kids would go through because of the beliefs that our families had growing up as a Jehovah's Witness.
I remember as a kid just feeling anxious and lonely for most of my childhood. I mean, there were absolutely happy memories as well, but it was definitely always overshadowed by this sense of impending doom, this feeling that I've never quite been good enough. I've always done something wrong, or, God's watching me. And same with my parents as well, the feeling that your parents don't love you as much as other parents love their kids. Is you're told, if needs be, we're going to let you die for this. Like, if you need a blood transfusion, you're going to die. If you leave Jehovah, we're abandoning you. And that was the running theme through both of our childhoods.
I knew I wanted to leave when I was very young. I always had moments where I thought, this isn't right. I did see people leave, but they were not people anymore. They weren't part of our lives. They had made that choice for themselves and they had done something wrong and they were bad people. I never envisioned myself to be one of those people. But yeah, I guess I ended up being one of those people. Now I do see a lot more coming out and saying what they need to say and what is actually happening in the religion.
The image that you might have of Jehovah's Witnesses is not necessarily accurate. There is horrible stuff going on behind closed doors. For the most part, the individual witness is a really nice person, is a very good person, but the organization that they're part of is responsible for some very horrible things.
I don't think a lot of people realize what people go through when they want to leave everything they've ever known behind in a religion that is a high control group. The shunning process is one of the hardest things that I have ever gone through, losing my entire family. And I think people need to know about that. My whole support system, everything that I had ever known, I was leaving behind.
I'm speaking out so that potentially someone still inside can see this and know that what you've been told about the outside world is not true. It's not the hell that you've been promised it will be. You won't be swallowed up and spit out. There's people out here that will love you and support you.
To start a new life on your own is terrifying and exciting all at once, because you're learning to raise yourself all over again and reteach your things and rewire your brain on how things actually are out in the world. And it's not some big scary place like what you're told, but it is terrifying because you are out there by yourself.
Yeah, building a life again on your own, the terror and the wonder go hand in hand. That's wonderful. You've got so many opportunities and you can do what you want, but it's also terrifying because you've got so many things coming at you all at once. Yes, it's scary, and yes, it will be hard, but it is so worth it.
Ohio has rejected a Republican-crafted constitutional amendment, widely seen as an attempt to derail a forthcoming referendum to protect abortion rights. Tuesday's vote was over a measure called Issue 1, which would have raised the bar for future constitutional amendments to 60% from a bare majority. Issue 1's proponents argued the proposed change would guard the Constitution from outside influence. Some 3 million Ohioans cast ballots definitively rejecting the measure. So, as of Wednesday afternoon, with nearly all voting precincts counted, 57% of voters rejected Issue 1, with the yes side trailing by 14 points. Ohio's rare summer vote, seen as another test case for abortion's popular support among voters, drew national attention. See this video.
This really shows that there are some issues that do cross party lines. I mean, the coalition that was opposed to this was enormous. I've never seen anything like it in the 20 years I've been reporting here. It was a lot of Democratic groups, but there were some Republicans who were against this as well. 2 of Ohio's 4 living governors, ex-governors, are Republicans. They were opposed, as well as the Democratic ex-governors. 5 ex-attorneys general from Ohio were all opposed to this from both parties. So there were a lot of Republicans and conservatives who thought that this was a problem because it would allow essentially a minority of voters to potentially block something that a majority, more than 50%, want, but not 60%.
Lebanon's culture minister moved to ban the film Barbie from the country's cinemas on Wednesday, saying it promoted homosexuality and contradicted religious values. Mohammed Motorda is backed by the powerful Shia Muslim armed group Hezbollah, whose head, Hassan Nasrallah, has ramped up his rhetoric against the LGBT community, saying it poses an imminent danger to Lebanon and should be confronted. Mortada's statement said the film was found to promote homosexuality and sexual transformation and contradicts values of faith and morality by diminishing the importance of the family unit. He asked Lebanon's General Security Agency, which falls under the Interior Ministry and is traditionally responsible for censorship decisions in the country, to take the necessary action to prevent the film's screening. Lebanon was actually the first Arab country to hold a Gay Pride Week in 2017 and has generally been seen as a haven for the LGBT community in the broadly conservative Middle East. But the issue has come into sharper focus recently, sparking tensions. Malawi last year took a decision to ban events promoting sexual perversion in Lebanon, understood to refer to LGBT-friendly gatherings. In a speech last month, Nasrallah called on Lebanese authorities to take action against materials he deemed to be promoting homosexuality, including by banning them. Finally, in Victoria, Australia, where they have abandoned opening meetings with prayers, They have a moment of silence instead. That didn't stop one councillor from gate-crashing the silence with a vocal prayer to his God. See this video.
Contemplation of the gravity and implications of our decision-making. I invite members to silently read the prayer as printed or reflect in a manner appropriate to their beliefs on these issues. I furthermore ask that all those present stand in silence in memory of those who gave their lives in defence of their country, at sea, on land, and in the air.
Almighty God, we ask for your blessing upon the works of the City of Adelaide.
Councillor, I
Direct
ask
and
you
prosper
not
its
to be
deliberations to the
disorderly. I have an
advancement of your
adjournment
glory
now. An adjournment
and the true welfare of the people of this city. Amen.
6A of the Local Government Act, and I'm forming a view that you have contravened and failed to comply with an instruction by behaving in an improper manner and disrupting the silence.
Stay on this channel to watch Tercia and I interview Peter Gaskin, a humanist celebrant. What is a humanist celebrant, I hear you ask? Well, you can come and ask. It's a live show. And don't forget to watch Views on the News, the show where our opinionated panel give their views on the items I have just reported on. This has been Global Atheist News. Please like, subscribe and share. Thank you for watching.